song actually.
And at the moment I'm Deputy Chair of the Transport Committee, and when Michael raised with me the fact that there were a few issues around for the buskers, basically the offer here is to try and have a constructive meeting with the people at TfL who are responsible for administering the busking scheme, and see if we can iron out a few wrinkles and in particular improve our communication. We've laid around an agenda. We thought that probably item 1 is the big issue really. It's about getting the consultation, representational work and the communication right. And what I thought we'd do to kick off is I'll ask Michael just to say a few words of introduction, and then Amanda Clayson and Chris Upfold, who kindly come along from TfL. So sometimes I'll have to say, don't shoot the messenger, but these are the brave people who've come here today to help us sort it out and talk about it. I'll give them a few introductory comments, and then we'll work our way through the agenda. So we want a chance to hear from you what your criticisms, comments and suggestions are, because we'd like to come out of here with some positive moves, I think. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah? You've all seen where the toilets are, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and if you really need to start off and get a coffee, don't be worried, you won't be offended. So, I thought, Michael, you want to say a few words first?
Yep,
You
okay.
can sing if you like.
No. The reason why I contacted you is because for 5 years we had a scheme where many of us had issues, things weren't perfect, but we had mechanisms by which we could try and talk about these issues, and we used to have meetings quite regularly with the previous management system and with London Underground. And when it was taken back in-house in July 2008, those meetings stopped. We haven't had any meetings since. We haven't had any real consultation. We've had one survey which we haven't seen the results of properly. And a lot of things have been changed. Often what might appear to be quite small things to outsiders, but to us have a huge impact, can have a huge impact on our lives. And I have asked, and I know many people here have asked, through emails and phone calls, please can we have a conversation, please can we have a meeting, please can we have some way of getting representation, anything to free up and so we can have a proper dialogue about these issues so that we don't keep tripping up on lots of silly things. And most recently there was a proposal put forward we were told was simply going to happen. 70 people voted against it in a poll that we ran. We wrote to, individually they wrote to LU and said we don't want this to happen. We were told it's going ahead. We've heard all this, and people we're going to go ahead with it anyway. And thankfully, because we're having this meeting, it's been shelved. We can then discuss it properly, we hope, and maybe come up with the right solution. So fundamentally, what we want, and why we also have this meeting, is to talk.
Right, okay. Amanda and Chris, welcome. Who would like to say something?
I can start. So I'm Chris Upfold. My job at London Underground, stand up here.
Yeah, probably best.
My job at London Underground is head of revenue and inclusion. So that means two different things. The inclusion bit, I'm responsible for improving our service for disabled customers. And the revenue bit means I'm responsible for running anything that has to do with our ticketing, our revenue, or our advertising, anything to do with that. So effectively, I'm the senior manager responsible for the busking scheme. I'm the one that goes back to the LU and TfL board to argue, can we continue to pay hundreds of thousands of pounds to keep this thing running? So it's very kind of us, like don't shoot the messenger, and I sort of am the messenger, but equally I'm kind of the guy that ain't the messenger, I'm writing the message. So that's who I am, and pleased to be here to listen to that.
You're back in the fire.
I'm back in the fire line, absolutely.
Can I just say the BBC were in the room. Is Tim still here?
You said he was coming
He's
and going.
slipped away. Okay, well that's fine. One of the buskers is filming. I hope you're okay with that. We're going to end up on YouTube.
Yeah, it will be.
Fellow Andrew Boff, who is a Conservative member of the Assembly, and I'm glad to see you here, and thank you for coming. Because I think, you know, the other elephant in the room is that this is a public interest issue. We want it to be right, not just for TfL and buskers, but also the public enjoy the buskers, I think, on the underground. So, you know, I think we want to see a lively live music tradition continue with the underground. So, Chris, did you want to say anything?
I just wanted to say who I am. I'm Amanda Clarkson, and I work in London Underground Stable Communications team, and really just here to support you and everyone around this table to see if we can come away with some constructive next steps. Okay.
Okay, well, agenda item 1 was we wanted to talk about this whole issue of the consultation and representation. Okay, well, agenda item 1 was we wanted to talk about this whole issue of the consultation and representation, communication between the buskers and TfL, and try and get some kind of system up and running that everybody's happy with. Does everyone want to come in with any comments and suggestions? We've got some roving lights here. Yep. Just shout.
I think we can hear us.
Although with my inclusion hat on, is there anybody here that won't be able to hear? Well, you wouldn't be able to hear me anyway. So.
Maybe I should
We've
stand up.
actually got some acoustic mics here. If you can't hear me, you can come forward and speak.
So basically the thing would be simply having regular meetings, as Michael was saying, and discuss from time to time what the changes may be or should not be. Simply having maybe, I don't know, every four months or so, three meetings a year with possibly all baskers or a committee of baskers.
Yeah. Just to get out from virtual world, we are in some way receiving every Friday very nice written letters, which in a way lose kind of trust in some way when you read it.
You feel
Because it really sounds nice, but in some way I don't get it.
Yeah.
And, but there's no way back. I'm learning things, but I can't.
you can't. It's all one way. You
Yeah,
don't have a
it's
chance
just one
to-
way.
yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
work this way.
The thing is as well, that we kind of feel that the management of the office don't really necessarily understand what it's like to actually busk and how their policies do affect it. And without that kind of face-to-face discussion, which would be invaluable if they were to actually listen to us, it's not a question of undermining their authority, it's a question of actually trying to be as constructive as we can. We have been doing it, most of us, for years and years and years. We know what the effects on the ground are. It kind of tells a story that none of them will come to this meeting tonight. We've invited them verbally and by letter.
Okay.
The gentleman here at the back.
Just another practical way to show the things of communication with baskets. The day that we renew the license, we are home in, just with a doorman. We will have even 5 minutes to see Robert Barney or all the people in the underground. We will have a chance to see face to face. That's a practical example, just to see that we are not having a communication with the scheme, with the directors or with the people that are in charge.
Okay. Can I ask you then, was there a reason why the meetings were suspended? Did you need to do that? Were you just too busy? And what happened?
Well, it was automatic that managed it. So when we brought it back in house, it was very much a scramble to find the money and keep the thing going, to keep it running when there was an awful lot of pressure to save money. So yeah, there's and I guess the difficulty, the worry that we have is that will we get, if we have quarterly meetings, will we get a true representation at those quarterly meetings, or do we need sort of the things that we're looking at now? Do we need an elected group, or is there something that can actually synthesize some of our ideas and present us with that? We're not sure how to do that. But I agree that it's something
that needs a special factor. It's just being a flat no.
Would you be willing to hold a regular dialogue meeting then, if we could come to some agreement about what a good format would be.
It's beyond the format. I guess I partly also don't understand, and I'm relatively new to this, but I don't understand what extra that will give us as opposed to a telephone number or email, what that synthesis of the meeting extra will give us.
We'd like for you to ask us the changes that affect just us. For example, any changes that affect health and safety and stations having closed pitches because of engineering work, obviously that's down to you. But booking, things like that, and all those things affect the London Underground at all. It doesn't matter who plays on those pitches, all you want to make sure is that it all runs smoothly. But those changes directly affect us, our income, and our happiness. So we'd like you to ask us for ideas before you make changes to the system. So it would be really useful to have some kind of, whether it's an committee.
There's also a huge value to be had, I think, in just having that face-to-face where you can bounce ideas back. If it's all in emails, and the emails tend to get ignored. I find often, however, so many emails over the years that you've been running this, I've never really had an acknowledgement or a direct reply. It just comes out in the next newsletter, our policy will be this, thank you for your input. And it's very demoralising when you get passionate about it's your livelihood that's at stake, to just have that kind of stonewalling.
Yeah, the learning can be two-way, and I mean, we just learned something that LUL was struggling to keep the scheme going, and it's great that the scheme's still going, so...
I'd like to know if you are aware basically of what, I mean, the main thing that got us, on our feet recently was that they told us that there was going to be a major change in the booking system. They say you're going to be divided into 2 groups. You're aware the booking starts at 9:30. Now, if you get the line and you manage to stick, say, in the first half an hour or an hour, you're still able to get decent slots and places where it's worth it to go off the bus. If you get the line at 12 o'clock, then there's really no point because you don't even make the money for it. It's as simple as that. So it's a thing on the first come, first served base. And they said to make things more equal, we divide you in 2 groups. Group A called 9:30 when the line's open, Group B calls at 1. Okay. Now, which would that mean? Effectively, that the week that I was on the group that calls at 1 o'clock and everybody else, there was no point whatsoever in calling. So I was reduced to bus half of the time that I was supposed to, that I want to do. And they told us, oh, it's going to be like this. We had a few feedback, most of them positive. And we had held a poll with the Yahoo group that we have, and like the vast majority, who knows what was it? 90% voted against it. And we told them, look, if something doesn't change at all for you, but it may have a massive impact on us, like David was saying. So please, before making any move like this, tell us. And thank God, we decided yes. But the reply to discuss this thing personally was like, no, we keep getting a nasty attitude from buskers, and until things are like this, we refuse to have any kind of communication.
I do suspect that as I feel nervous while talking about this. This is really one of the issues I think a lot of buskers have. Is that certain people in the office, you get the idea that if you do say anything that's not necessarily nasty, but certainly critical, then maybe you might be blacklisted or have something plot against your name. And I know certainly from conversations I've had, I'm very opposed to what Beppo was talking about, these changes. There was just this, I got the impression that there was almost a surreptitious sort of, oh, we know who these rate leaders are, who are pushing against all of this. And when we talk about consultation, representation, communication, I'd like to know that it was on a level playing field and we were all working towards exactly the same thing, which is a positive outcome, as we've all been talking about, rather than sort of, keep your mouth shut, because we all have to, we are very vulnerable, it's our profession.
There's a kind of divide and rule tactic, I think, slightly.
Because we're a disparate group, we really are, but we're all licensed, and so hence we need to speak with a relatively unified voice.
There are 3 things I think that we really want to see. And we've discussed this in our Yahoo group, and some of us even met a few days ago about it. And there was consensus, unanimous. And that's unusual, because often we disagree with each other.
Quite a lot.
We disagree with each other a lot.
Just
just less than half the buskers belong to the Yahoo group.
Yes.
So unanimous within the small, the relatively small.
Well, actually,
Okay, I can see this is going to be an issue. We're going to sort this out amicably.
Peter's the moderator.
Let Michael finish. And then
Unions say that less than half.
And there was consensus, unanimous, and that's unusual because often we disagree with each other.
what not?
We disagree with each other a lot.
Just less than half the buskers belong to the Yahoo group.
Yes.
So unanimous within the small, the relatively small.
Well, actually,
Okay, I can see this is going to be an issue. We're going to sort this out amicably.
Peter's the moderator.
Let Michael finish. And then
Unions say that less than half the buskers are members of the Ignite group.
That's my understanding.
68% are.
Now, so that
Sorry, that's to point out, not all the buskers that are with the license are actively busking.
Yeah.
So it says that pretty much everyone who's busking regularly is a member of the group because he's in his own interest.
But you know, let's just bear in mind that even half of the occupational group have got something useful to say, you know, and we're not suggesting that a group dictates. There is a dialogue. There is a dialogue.
There is this catch-22 as well. They say they won't be with anything that comes from the Yahoo group. They won't accept anything that comes from the Yahoo group because it isn't representative. But we have asked, I know Peter's asked, we might a lot of us have asked, for them to actually notify the people, the licence holders who aren't on the Yahoo group, so that it is.
Because you haven't got the addresses.
Well, we have. But they
Yeah, let Michael finish, and then I'm going to ask TFL just to respond to
because
that.
there are three things that we really would like to see. One is a recognition that issues that aren't operational or health and safety, we have a say in how what happens. We have a say in a decision about, for example, the booking system. So that's the first thing. That's what we'd like to see. If it's operational, we understand you have to take decisions. If it's health and safety, you have to take decisions. But if it's simply to do with the effect it has on us, then we want to have a say in it. So we're asking for that. We're asking for a process of representation. We'd like to see representatives regularly meeting with LU. And so that's the second thing. We'd like you to recognise that yes, there's some representatives who have been elected, and we will meet with those people and recognise those as legitimate representatives. And in order to do that, the third thing we need is that you will help us elect those representatives, because we don't have access to all the buskers. 32% are not on the Yahoo group, and many of those are not on email. You have access to their addresses. We would like to be able to do a poll of all the buskers to elect some representatives. We need your help to do it. We want you to recognise those representatives as representatives, to meet with them regularly, and to accept the principle that any changes that are not operational or health and safety, we have a say in.
I don't have any arguments with any of those. Exception to that first one. There has to be an additional item, and it has to be commercial. So there's got to be a health and safety operation. There's also be some sort of commercial thing that we are paying money for this. And if it changes that commercial position, we need to control that as well. But as we've met with the musicians unit, you need to figure out how do we run some elections, how do we make this fair, is there a way of doing it? So that has to happen, and that's how we'll elect representatives, through a dialogue with them, and they'll have a dialogue with you, or we'll have a three-way dialogue. I'm not entirely sure how that will work yet. But yeah, I don't have a difficulty with having representatives that we meet regularly, or whatever we decide that we need to work out.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. I mean, and I think everybody understands that you don't always get what you want, but at least if both sides hear what the position is and what the explanation is.
Well, we've already got further face-to-face meetings.
Yeah.
The phone calls and emails, so this is exactly what we want to achieve.
And to be frank, TFL has lots of areas where it doesn't have standing, representational arrangements. The taxi drivers and PCO, for example, I mean, it's not unusual within TFL to have this kind of regular dialogue. So do we have a proposal, do you think, to have an inaugural meeting of, I don't know what you're going to call yourselves, but
License to market.
what are you?
That was the name given, wasn't it? What was it?
We need to talk to musicians and come up with a way of having a free, fair, and representative election as quickly as we can. That becomes a representative body that we agree to meet with on a regular basis to, and yeah, to be perfectly frank, there are no behind-the-scenes dealings on this. I can guarantee you that. Not just doing anything like that. Those changes, that A and B system, was fundamentally our attempt to make it fair. And maybe we got that wrong, maybe we didn't consult on enough, that's fairly clear. It's something which is why we clear. It's not because we were trying to control things. We hear from buskers that feel that our booking system is unfair, so the team responsible went, how can we make this fair? We came up with a few ideas, tried to do those. Would those ideas have been better if we had talked to some of the people? Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, when do you think we could kind of see the first inaugural meeting? Because obviously it involved you in doing a letter round or convening something.
I have no idea, to be honest. I don't know how. It's pretty early days in the musician field, but I think we were talking.
No, we've actually started a process through the other group to allow people to put themselves forward and to be nominated. And there's a draft constitution we've done to create this. We'd like to have some talks to get that nailed down, and to keep critical thing to get every busker to have that, to receive that by post, so that they can not just the other group have access to it. We've started that. In fact, we were going to have a closing date for that only in a week's time, and that's obviously too quick, but we could do this within a matter of weeks.
Can I just ask, how many people here are a member of the Musicians' Union? In my place. Okay, thank you. So it's less than half, but some of you. Who have you been talking to in the Musicians' Union? Is it a busker or
No, it's official representative.
officials? Do you have any contact with the officials of the Musicians' Union? Yeah.
Yeah. Some.
Okay, so perhaps you could collaborate with them. Yeah.
I think most of us suspect that certainly individuals in the office that we actually deal with everything, there might be considerable amounts than you've displayed to go down this road. They've been pretty challenging with that so far.
Yeah, I think that there are strong field leaders that have built up on both sides of this.
It's part of the problem in yourself as well. I think a lot of that comes from random individuals firing off emails in anger, whatever. This is another thing we want the committee to cut out.
Okay,
There's an official channel.
Yeah, I mean, we people have been burned on both sides. Chris, did you want to finish that?
I think that's true. One of the difficulties is that London Underground, quite rightly, I think, doesn't see this as a core bit of our business. This is moving people back and forth in trains. So that makes it difficult for people to understand who run a railway. That can make it difficult. And because we have such strict rules on things, we sometimes feel we need to apply those same strict rules to everything, because that's the corporation that we are. But that doesn't mean that we can't change that and we can't come up with a way that this would work. Well, it mostly has worked, hasn't it? It mostly has worked in that we have had a busking scheme for a long time. And it is not implemented well.
But it's much easier to demonize on both sides when we've never met face to face.
Okay, lady here, sorry.
Yeah, I think this is one of the main issues, is that there's been a lot of talk on the Yahoo group about, general disrespect, really. I think it is possible that it's been on both sides, but coming from the office. And it is a shame that they didn't come today, because it would be nice to meet them face to face, to meet all of them. And it is unfortunately linked, I think, with the general perception of who buskers are or how they behave. And they have kind of stonewalled us on a lot of things that we've suggested.
We've never met face to face.
Okay, lady here, sorry.
Yeah, I think this is one of the the main issues is that there's been a lot of talk on the Yahoo group about, general disrespect, really. I think it is possible that it's been on both sides, but coming from the office. And it is a shame that they didn't come today, because it would be nice to meet them face to face, to meet all of them. And it is unfortunately linked, I think, with the general perception of who buskers are or how they behave. And they have kind of stonewalled us on a lot of things that we've suggested. And I have to say, unfortunately, it just is often quite patronising the way that they communicate with us. We're adults, we're musicians, we're professional musicians.
We are human beings.
Yes, we're human beings. Exactly.
Don't be like human beings.
Yeah.
We've got our mouth shut. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like they need to be sat down and just said, you are dealing with, like you say, human beings. They're professional musicians.
On the line, when you call for booking. Really, you get this kind of impression.
But attitude needs to be looked at, because we haven't been speaking about this recently, but in the beginning when LU took over, and I think it's probably still happening, there were just basically a lot of lies going on. And, little lies sometimes, like, I can't even think of examples, but we all knew it was happening. It was almost like just to get us off the phone. And we don't need that. We need respect. Obviously, we need to respect them as well as workers for LU.
For instance, we've been told if you email like this, hand in your license.
Yes.
I've been told that.
Really?
Yes. If you're not happy, hold the license back.
Yeah. It's written actually. I think there is a reason.
Okay, gentlemen.
This is another topic of communication. If you have a look at who we are, for the majority of basketball, this is adults have been all the time. And the approach of the weekly email, they were targeting a bit of London, like a price of beaches that nobody go, and targeting people from 16 years old. I've never seen any basketball minors, they're all adults. I think it's another example that they really don't understand the reality of our life. We make a living with this. We are not taking this like a joke or something for having fun. It's a serious matter. It's a serious job. It's a serious income. Then don't be targeting all the time like with of London. It could be a fantastic idea, but it doesn't match the reality of what we are. We are adults.
And maybe talk to us first about
the newsletter is targeted at whom? It feels like it's...
A price for that good page in central London for people that are 16 years old.
That's a competition.
Yes. There is another example that really...
The newsletter was about that rather than about the issues that are...
It's a...
But it's the actual content.
It would be fantastic.
I think you're saying the competition itself.
Competition itself would be fantastic, but
it could be a good idea.
it's not what the baskets are.
I think, can we wrap this session, the first item up, because it sounds like everybody's agreed that communications hasn't been basically broken down. There's reasons why TFL is struggling, and we need to kind of reinstitute the system. We need TFL's help to get everybody in communication together, and I'm sure people will have to work with the Musicians' Union as well as the Yahoo group. So, we want everybody to have an opportunity. Can we
put a time scale?
Yeah, can we set a time?
That by January, we're running on this. So that gives us 3 months to talk about this and get it down. And that no changes that are not operational, commercial, health, safety are made until we get this going. Is there something you can commit to?
I just don't know how long talks with the musician union will take. I don't know the availability. It would be easier for me to sit here and say, yeah, I can try and make this happen by the end of January. But
that's
fair enough. That
would be great.
We can try
And I would be very
That's
happy.
good enough. You say you'll try to.
I'd be very happy just to act as broker and host a meeting here again, and just see that the paperwork goes out fine and that everybody's happy with it. Just to kind of audit it. Because I've got no commercial interest in anything.
TFL is still very positive about the scheme, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely committed to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hence there shouldn't be any problem whatsoever. Really speaking, there shouldn't be any problem with that.
Yeah.
We are not trying to kill this by the death of 1,000 cuts.
All right, gentlemen, here's John.
Before we tie this section up, is we talked about the committee and St. for the committee. But just to bring back to what Michael just said, we'd like to know that no changes to pure and busking issues are going to be made without consultation, such as
Is there
what
anything on the
proposed
go?
a few weeks ago.
No,
about further business.
So even if it takes till March to get the first meeting,
They're still going to leave the booking system alone, or leave pure and busking issues alone.
But the action point I'm going to take here is that there's agreement, we're going to aim to have some kind of mass meeting as an inaugural meeting for a representative system, yes?
Yeah.
And if you want me to help with that, I'm happy to, that's up to you.
Yeah, it's just whether we have another mass meeting, do we have a meeting with those reps? Do we have...
Yeah, if you want to elect some
I'm
reps,
to both of
you're
those,
going
if
to
you
have
can
to
figure out
have
a
an
way to
election.
do that.
Well, we're going to need the LU
We
first
need
to
that
get in touch.
database. They're the only ones that have the database.
Yeah,
We don't have it. We
Yeah.
don't have access to it.
And not everybody is on email, this is the other thing, so probably everybody needs to be posted the letter. Well, the current system is not great.
We will work with, and I accept that not everybody's part of the musicians union, but we're a big company that needs to work with a representative body like that to make something happen.
But in order to do that, sorry, Val was asking me, would we be happy with the ballot? And I said, absolutely, that's what we wanted to try and do. But in order to do that, you need to give everybody a chance to stand. So that requires communication. And you need to give everybody a chance to understand. So quite possibly we need a meeting where there's a hustings or something, we get a chance to... So we need help from LU or from you, Val, to do that.
I don't know when you do that.
We can be up and running.
However we think that, I'm not trying to prevaricate here, I just can't picture in my mind yet how it would happen, but...
I think it would probably be helpful if there's a very small party
A
organising,
working
a working party to make the bigger things happen,
make it
probably. And I don't know, Michael would probably be keen to be part of that, seeing
To make this...
a little steering group to get an election together of some sort, whether a mass meeting or ballot close, and then to move on from there, yeah?
Can I make the point that it's great to hear you say these things that you would like to see the committee set up and that you're willing to help us set it up. I contacted the Musicians Union shortly after getting my licence, and I know that talks have been going on ever since, and it's great to hear that they're continuing to go on and that those will be part of the solutions that we all find together. As the straw poll you just saw showed, maybe about slightly less than half of us are members of the Musicians Union, and I think it's important that the meeting with representatives of all of us continues on a separate track from meetings with Musicians Union, that talks with Musicians Union can't hold the committee up, because the Musicians Union are only representing some 30 or 40% of us anyway. So they will be very helpful and a partner in that.
We don't want to run the election through the Musician Union.
No.
We want to work with the Musician Union to understand how you would conduct a fair ballot. You don't have to be in the Musician Union to be in that.
They've already offered input on that, in fact,
Yeah.
so we can
I think
make sure that that's forwarded
quite
widely.
happy with the Musicians Union, whether they're members or not, I think.
Okay.
There's hands at the back.
Yeah, just to sort of facilitate this whole process moving forward, because you seem fairly sceptical about how it's going to work in practice, would it not be a worthwhile suggestion to get one of us to draft a letter suggesting the ballot, how it's going to work? We forward it to you, and you actually forward it to all the email addresses you have on your database. That would be a way in which we could get the process going pretty much straight away.
I'm not sceptical about it at all. I haven't had that discussion with the musician unions to know how it worked yet. It would work yet. Is email ballot?
I thought Amanda made a really good suggestion. So let's get a little steering group together. It doesn't have.
Just to sort of facilitate this whole process moving forward, because you seem fairly sceptical about how it's going to work in practice, would it not be a worthwhile suggestion to get one of us to draft a letter suggesting the ballot, how it's going to work? We forward it to you, and you actually forward it to all the email addresses you have on your database. That would be a way in which we could get the process going pretty much straight away.
I'm not sceptical about it at all. I haven't had that discussion with the musician unions to know how it worked yet. It would work yet. Is email ballot?
I thought Amanda made a really good suggestion. So let's get a little steering group together. It doesn't have to live forever, but just to set up the system.
The problem I might see that which we will know is that once you get a little peak
Yeah.
People wonder how those people will be elected to this different group.
Yeah,
Well, you know, this is just run a little short life thing. We're not going to last.
Yeah, no, I'm
beyond
actually,
overall.
to get us know that there will be sceptics out there who say,
Right.
hang on, you're speaking for me.
Do you know what? That's
Let's-
tough.
let's
We're going
do
to
it.
make some progress, aren't we? We're going to make some progress.
Let's do it to get us to that first
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
And now I've been corralled into doing that, which in some way I don't want to, because I'd like to stand as a representative, but I think it would be a conflict. So I'll do this, and then I won't stand as a representative, and it'd be good if a couple of other people would do it as well. I think if you want to stand as a representative, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Come and help us, and let's get this thing.
Okay, can I make a suggestion? As a trade unionist, I have to say that number 3 is a magic number. 3 people is great because you always get a decision, and it's small enough and big enough. And we've got 3 people here who genuinely have the time and a bit of administrative skill, a bit of diplomacy, who want to take part in a steering group to talk to these guys and help set up this system.
Yeah, I'm happy to be involved in that. And I'm also happy to nominate myself to not stand for anything else afterwards.
I don't necessarily agree with the should bar people from...
Oh, right, that was my personal view. Sorry, I didn't want to...
If
This
people
is just to get the first
are
thing
involved
going.
enough to want to be part of the steering
You're
group.
perfect, Peter. Peter's up for it.
Peter.
Right, okay, just stand up and tell us who you are, because I don't really know. Please look at me.
Moderator of the Yahoo.
Sorry?
Peter Murphy,
Peter Murphy.
moderator of the Yahoo.
Yahoo moderator. Yeah.
And Wayne.
Yeah.
Wayne.
Wayne Myers, ME member, Busker.
And what?
ME member and Busker.
And you remember. Oh, that's helpful. And we need one more. And Michael.
That's the 3.
Well, we're going to have an all-male shortlist here, but I think we'll just this once.
Maybe one of them could represent.
Well, that's 3. Okay, so the proposition, and it's only to get you to the first stage. Won't live after that, okay. It's Peter Murphy, Wayne Myers, and Michael Hall. Can you trust these people, yeah? And the objective is a mass representative.
Not 100%, 99%.
Your polling is going down already, so. Okay, thank you for that. Right, now those 3 people, we need you just to cluster at the end of the meeting and swap maybe some contact details and diary days. And we,
get all of them.
yeah, and then you can get that going. Well, I know your Amanda's great.
So make sure you don't switch off your mobile, because I'm going to call you, you know.
Yeah, and if you know, that is the point. These people are going to try and represent you, so you've got to help them and you've got to trust them. Great, right, communication, item 1. Do we want to talk now about some of these specific issues, just to air it, but probably from what was being said, we won't get any firm progress until you've got your group together. Do you want to say something about the pitch bookings process now? Get it off your chest, get it in the air, or would you like to do it properly when we've got a representative system? There's a few things people want to say, so let's hear them. I haven't heard them.
Just say, can I just say one thing that I hope the panel are aware of, and I know Michael is,
Yeah.
that the difference between a good pitch and a bad pitch is massive.
Money-wise, it's how much?
Well, I'm not going to break the bus
10 times.
code of honour and say how
10
much, but
times.
it's massive. And that is the problem. That is the problem with this issue, I think.
Yeah. How many really good pictures are there? 3 or 4, so there's a lot of competition now.
Yeah.
Who else wanted to come in?
I just wanted to add a point that all pictures are not good at all times during the day, and that's so people. It's no use to say this picture is a very good pitch, this picture is a very bad pitch, because at different times of the day, they make mostly very good pictures. So that's, I think the oversimplifying of the booking process and dividing into all pictures are like 6 o'clock, they're just brilliant all the time. It doesn't really help.
Right, so a little bit more of a subtle understanding of how the pitches.
It's a very complicated process.
Right, we're into the space-time continuum as well.
Yeah, one more suggestion about the telephone, really, because this number 0845 is really
very expensive.
I don't know if they have about
What is
that.
bad about it?
I pay £120 my bill. I can show you orange.
350.
And then it's too much.
Okay, we hear you. This one causes real pain. Can you give me or explain? Did you know
This is interesting.
that it was costing people so much pain, money?
Too much.
Why?
It is the 08445 number. It is free from most landlines. It is that
No.
£200 per
Why
month
not
book.
solve the problem?
Yeah,
Why don't we get an engaged tone? Every time I call, I get through, and it costs me 13 pence, and I have to call hundreds
Maybe
of
you're
times.
aware, but when we call, like, for the first 10, 20, 100, 200 times, we get music say, welcome to the Baskin Underground hotline.
Every message
a little music, and then, sorry,
we are
at the moment we are very busy, please call back
Yeah.
later. And we pay for the connection charge and for the minute. Okay, so it's like 13, 15, 20, 40 pence
Yeah.
just for this. We decrease a number of times every Tuesday.
London Underground doesn't get that money.
Oh, no, that's not true.
We make about £100 a year from it.
Okay,
So you weren't kind of really aware of this problem, from what you're saying?
I am aware it's a problem, but it is the line that we can use that doesn't cost London Underground more money.
But can you not have an engaged
Okay.
tone?
My understanding is that is the way 0845 numbers themselves work. We can only have so many lines because lines cost a certain amount, and the people to staff them cost a certain amount. So there is a pure logistic and cost thing here for London.
We understand that.
There was
not having an engaged tone. Like we used to have it automatic. You could ring multiple times if you got through.
This
You
system
weren't
is
actually
well
answered. It was just
like
engaged, so you didn't get charged.
So it's the call waiting system that's costing you a lot of money.
It's not a call waiting. We've been on the line for 40 minutes before speaking with someone.
Is it something you could actually have a look at?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, my understanding is that this is, and this is from talking to make it fair to people who said that it's a shame that Robert Fernie and these people aren't here. That's because I'm here. They are my project managers that run this for me, so I am effectively on this scheme of cost. So they have explained it to me. I understand that this works in a certain way. I'm getting a different interpretation from you. So what I have to do now is go back and square that circle. But my understanding is that the 08445 number is a standard number that companies use for this kind of thing.
This is the standard thing.
May I say that?
That doesn't cost London Underground more money to have more staff, to have more. I don't know about how to engage work or that sort of thing.
Can you have a look at it? Okay, because if somebody else is taking the profit, we've all got a problem, Houston. haven't we? Is the money coming through to you?
May I say?
Who owns phone lines these days?
Oh, okay, well I think
Well,
we
we
need
are
to look
told-
at that. Peter knows something about this.
Let Mikhail say
Is
something.
it possible?
Mikhail, please.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
We're paying for the service.
Every Tuesday.
London Underground doesn't get that money.
Oh, no, that's not true.
We make about £100 a year from it.
Okay,
So you weren't kind of really aware of this problem, from what you're saying?
I am aware it's a problem, but it is the line that we can use that doesn't cost London Underground more money.
But can you not have an engaged tone?
My understanding is that is the way 0845 numbers themselves work. We can only have so many lines because lines cost a certain amount, and the people to staff them cost a certain amount. So there is a pure logistic and cost thing here for London.
We understand that. It's not having an engaged tone. Like we used to have it automatic. You could ring multiple times if you got through.
This
You
system
weren't
is
actually
well
answered. It was just engaged, so you didn't get charged.
So it's the call waiting system that's costing you a lot of money.
Is
Is
this?
this-
We've been on the line for 40 minutes before speaking with someone.
Is it something you could actually have a look at?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, my understanding is that this is, and this is from talking to make it fair to people who said that it's a shame that Robert Fernie and these people aren't here. That's because I'm here. They are my project managers that run this for me, so I am effectively on this scheme of cost. So they have explained it to me. I understand that this works in a certain way. I'm getting a different interpretation from you. So what I have to do now is go back and square that circle. But my understanding is that the 08445 number is a standard number that companies use for this kind of thing.
This is the standard thing.
It doesn't cost London Underground more money to have more staff, to have more. I don't know about how to engage work or that sort of thing.
Can you have a look at it? Okay, because if somebody else is taking the profit, we've all got a problem, Houston. haven't we? Is the money coming through?
Who owns phone lines these days?
Okay, well I think we need to look at that. Peter knows something about this. Is it possible? Sorry, can't hear you.
We're paying for the service. We're stuck with the 0845 number. Is it possible that you can be accountable to us for where that money is going to, and for that statement to be audited by your accountants?
Actually, that's something we on the London Assembly can do. We won't be We will put in a request for information to the Mayor. I'm sure we'll be delighted to answer.
I promise you that we don't make, London Underground does not make money.
Somebody is. Somebody's making money on this.
Oh yeah.
All right, everybody, calm down.
I'd like to say, thing is, most of the people would agree that not our main concern is not 0845 number, but thing is, if we don't get through 9:30, we need to keep redialing, and we can redial actually 5-6 times a minute, right? And it can last 1 hour or 2 hours in some cases. So in 1 hour, possibly we're redialing 300 times to get through. And it cost, I don't have landline, and it cost me, each time I redial, it cost me 15 pounds.
Okay, why don't we have an
So why
internet-based
don't we have an engaged tone, especially if London Underground doesn't make money, if it's not profitable at all. Just an engaged tone, so it doesn't charge every redialing, but will be happily charged once we're connected.
Yeah, LUL are very kindly going to look at that. Okay, we don't have, I'm really sorry, but we don't have a leader in this room, so can we just move on and pick up, are there any other big key issues on the agenda that you want to air now, so people are aware of them? Gentlemen here.
Bring back internet looking we used to have. That helps a lot because sometimes we cannot, we stay 2 hours, 3 hours trying to go and we don't get through. If we cannot work that way, we have the internet thing. We can see all the pictures. Now I used to work as a program. I did work for 2 years as a program at university. I've done a project with GlaxoSmithKline, a big project with them to web-based application. And I know that's not difficult to do that. Nobody's going to tell me that that's going to cost 500,000. It's a very easy thing to do. It's a matrix thing, very easy. All you have inside there is if statements. If this person didn't click here, then it's free. So free. If you click, then link to this. And
in context, we used to have a web-based system as well as the phones. When the private management company ran it, we've asked for it since, and we've been told it would cost £550,000 to implement, which we find extraordinary. In fact, the private management system company has said they could do it for £40,000. So,
can I just say that?
All right, we can't get too much detail today, but that's another suggestion on the table. Yeah,
I don't think that most people in this room are suggesting replacing the telephone system. A matrix edition or an internet edition.
An edition.
It deals with cancellation.
As a cancellation,
Cancellations, right, okay. There are a lot of other issues on the agenda. There is the pitch booking process, changing terms and conditions, sanctions and appeals. CD cell. Now we won't sort these out tonight, but just put on the table one of the big things that are worrying you. Gentlemen
The thing that worries me about the sanction is that having spoken to Rob, he told me that the minimum suspension period as a sanction they have is 3 months, which seems disproportionate and excessive to anyone who's actually a working musician. You stop from working for 3 months because of any infringement of the terms and conditions.
And only alleged infringement.
There's a lot of time things are alleged. And you're saying suspended for 3 months. There's no person I've asked them many times who the person I had to appeal to. The first time I asked Rob, he told me probably him. So I believe that the appeals process is to his direct boss, David Carr, but I only got that through speaking to Chris Chance, because he wouldn't tell me who his boss was. So I'm saying it's not a very clear appeal, and it's never been laid out in any document I've been given or told to us who was supposed to appeal to.
Can you react to that tonight, or is it something you've got to think about?
I don't know about specific instances. Again, I think that the very, very few suspensions we had, in my understanding, seem to have been proportionate. Don't know about the specific one you're talking about, but
I'm not sure it's just a general vulnerability.
There's a general point there.
If an IR station staff determines individually that you're playing too loud, and you've already been warned by someone else, that person's decision, subjective decision, could lead to you losing your licence for 3 months without.
That will forever. Permanent suspension for that.
That will always be the case. On that initial judgment, we have to leave that in the hands of station staff who need to operate that system. Now, in terms of appeals, how do we work out whether it was too loud or not? I guess you figure that out. Is it repeat? Is it how often is it? But fundamentally, we have to leave the station staff to run the station.
Sure, no, we accept that.
But a lifetime ban for volume.
Gentleman, cameraman.
A lifetime ban for someone who's made a mistake with the volume. I mean, shouldn't there be that sounds a bit.
There's never been any. There's been one person who's had a lifelong ban. It's nothing to do with volume. There's nothing to do with any of those things. I don't think we've ever.
We carry that threat. We walk around knowing that threat hangs over us, which was only delivered a few weeks ago. In an email, we suddenly got an email that said, "As of today, this is the sanction." And we've spent the last month. I spent the last month terrified of my volume.
Sorry,
I actually left the pitch last week because I was frightened I'd be mad.
Can you explain just in terms of what was actually suggested, how it was going to be determined?
How it was prior to this email, we'd always understood that we had to play so that the tannoy system could be heard, and that's
what was actually suggested, how it was going to be determined.
How it was prior to this email, we'd always understood that we had to play so that the tannoy system could be heard, and that's clearly stated in our terms and conditions. We then got this email that said we had to play 1 notch below the volume at which the tannoy could be heard, of which none of us know what a notch is. It has to be 1 notch below the volume that the tannoy system could be heard. Again, it makes no sense because you just have to be below the volume the tannoy system to be heard. You don't have to be below that, you have to be just below the tannoy system.
But it's just one last point, seriously, and it's just a general thing. The very nature of busking and station managers means that they're only human, and what tends to happen is that you will get a substantial amount of who don't particularly like this.
Yeah.
And that's just the nature of it. I don't like certain types of music. I don't like house music, but they're in the position to actually determine.
It's a subjective element.
Not very much.
I quite like some
It's
sort
difficult
of
to clear
appeal
up, I
process.
understand.
It will have to remain a subjective,
understand.
with some sort of understanding of an appeals process.
Yes,
Sorry, with the subjective judgment, can I pass on a complaint from a member of the public actually about LU announcements, which is quite amusing, and that is that they said that could LU stop making qualitative announcements about their service? If there's a delay, they say there is a delay or there is no delay, but they always say things like, we are providing a good service. I mean, and the public saying, well, we decide whether you're providing a good service. You shouldn't be deciding on whether you're providing a good service. I don't think that...
All right. You've strayed a little bit, We're not going to talk about poems on the Underground Island, but I know that came from Tim O'Toole, who instituted that. Because he was a bit...
gone now.
He was a bit fed up that people didn't appreciate the good service.
Oh, I see.
We British people moan a lot.
But we get money if people think the music is good.
Okay, now I know somebody wanted to raise the issue of CD sales before.
I think it's one.
Okay, quick one on CD sales, and then I think we might be ready to wrap. Gentleman here,
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm a composer, I'm a songwriter, and I've done my album for Zero, spent quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
And, I don't see the point not to selling CD, because actually people respect you when you put your CD and they come to you, And not just because I spend money, but I think this is my life. I'm a musician myself, as I said, and I would be very happy to distribute my album some way. And at the moment, that's the only way I could do it. I've got 800 copies stuck,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, lady at the back.
I also want to say, not just CDs, but I think business cards as well. You shouldn't be scared to, you know, if somebody comes up to you and say, you know, I'd like you to come and event or function, you shouldn't be kind of like, you know, passing the business card up. You know what I mean? You should feel free to be able to do that without.
We're not smart and broke, so we can
slap
have
on
the
the
right
wrist,
business
But at the moment, you're not allowed to do that.
Well, I'm a singer-songwriter, I play my own music, and people come to me and ask me if I have CD.
Yeah.
So what am I going to say? No, I can't say no because I do have CD. I sell, and they are actually, I'm a proper record company, so I'm even allowed to sell anything I want. So I'm, you know, I'm in a catch-22 because I can't say I don't have. Then if I say yeah I do, then I can't tell them here because why? You know, they say why.
Okay.
So it doesn't make any sense.
You're West London authorities in the business of promoting small businesses.
Well,
so
I
I'm
said,
sure.
what's the reason for the planning of the business card distribution? I'd like you to hear the
Yeah, okay,
real
well
sensitive
let's
answer.
see if TFL can react on this one.
The reason is that we charge companies to sell stuff on the LNU network and to give away stuff free on the LNU network. So if we charge a flower seller or a newspaper vendor, we used to charge even standing when they were independent, rent for their area, then it's difficult for us to continue to argue that.
Well, your charges for
We're
your
paying money on the old 45 number every week.
Yeah.
I pay £20 a week.
We charge people
Think of that.
we charge people to sell things and distribute things on the underground.
Is there any way you could look for a little scheme to, you know, for people to be licensed to do this as part of their bus scheme?
Yeah. It's Cara who on the underground. It's really very original. Yeah. You know, those kind of very short, limited amount of symbols.
Sorry, can we just have one at a time? We are having a bit of cacophony here, I think. Anybody else? Gentleman there.
I think that the reason why people are feeling a little aggrieved is that this rule was overlooked for quite a long time. People did sell their CDs on the underground, and then it was very much squashed. And a lot of people
got into the habit
made
of doing it
investments
and it
and
helped.
started to see that as part of their lifestyle. And
was interesting.
it has made a big difference to some.
Okay, I think we've got the message now. Unless there's anything different anybody wants to say.
Yeah, just quickly, I just wanted to say, should it not be okay if somebody's specifically asking you for, you know, details? You shouldn't be allowed, you know, maybe not CD, well, I don't know about CDs, but